Wow. Okay. All right, Lawlers, we are back at it again today with another beginner champion guide, this time for the King of the Rift, one of my personal favorites. It's Tryndamere. This guy is a right-click fury monster, okay? Like, if you want to just smack down on your opponents with a massive sword, you like crit-based champs, you don't want anything too technical, simple to play, but, you know, has a bunch of good matchups, can split push, can team fight, and has an ult that essentially doesn't let him die. This is definitely worth a try for you. So we're in a practice mode right now. We're going to quickly run through a bunch of his abilities and how you might want to piece them together and chain them together into some combos, and then we're just gonna hit against the bot in mid lane for a bit so you guys can see some kind of champ interaction and gameplay in lane. So right off the bat with Tryndamere, the first thing we're going to talk about is actually his passive Battle Fury. So Tryndamere's attacks grant him Fury for critical strikes, for killing units, for auto attacks. Basically, anytime you right click something, you're going to get some Fury, and it's going to fill up under his health bar over here. So let's spawn a practice dummy and give this a quick try here. Spawn enemy dummy. Let's just hit on this guy a couple times. You can see with each right click, each auto attack, we're generating that red bar under our health bar. That's his Fury bar, okay? All you need to know with Tryndamere is the more Fury you have, the better it is, the more you're going to hurt. Okay, so when that bar is red, that's really like when Tryndamere shines. Okay, so all of his auto attacks are going to be beefed up based on how much Fury you have. Okay, so each point of Fury grants Tryndamere 4.4% critical strike chance. That just means that if you critical strike on your autos, they're going to deal more damage. Okay, so full red bar equals good equals more damage. All right, the first ability you're going to learn, we're going to talk about right now with Tryndamere, is his E, his spinning slash. So being a right-click champion, if you don't have mobility, you're probably going to be in trouble. It's really good that Tryndamere has this massive spin that lets him go through walls and also cover a lot of distance to get to champs if you want to start beating down on them. So I'm just going to auto-refresh cooldowns here as well so that we can see how this spin rate can really help us out around the map. So when I say you can spin through walls, you can go through basically terrain to get to where you need to go, right? This is essentially a mini flash. That's what it is on, I think right now, what would it be at level 1, a 12-second cooldown. So there's almost any wall in the map you can get through. Okay, this means you can chase people down, you can escape, you can do some pretty creative pathing, but it also deals damage. Okay, so when he spins through enemies, he's going to deal 100 damage at level 1 and also generating some Fury, so again playing into his passive. The ability's cooldown is also reduced by 1 second when Tryndamere critically strikes it, okay, and also by 2 seconds when he critically strikes a champion. Okay, so that basically means with some item interaction and certain cooldown reduction abilities and boots, and with the right crits on enemy champions, this ability can reach a disgustingly low cooldown. Like, you can be spinning every 1 or 2 seconds, right? Like, maybe a little bit of exaggeration, but it's going to feel that way. You can literally be spinning non-stop, okay? So mobility and damage really, really good right off the bat with Tryndamere, okay? So as you can see here, 1 auto attack, 87 damage. We can spin through, deals 100 damage, and then we can keep that combo going and just keep beating people down, okay? Now the next ability you're going to learn with Tryndamere in lane is going to be your Q, okay? This is Bloodlust. Passively, Tryndamere thirsts for blood, gaining 10 attack damage, plus 0.15 per % missing health. There's a lot of math in there. Again, high level, all you need to know is the lower health you have, the more damage you're going to do, okay? The other part of his Q, Bloodlust, is that you can press it. Tryndamere is going to consume his Fury, so it's going to eat up all the red Fury you have into your health bar, and it's going to restore some health. So this is huge for Tryndamere in terms of lane sustain. It's going to let you stay in lane. You can trade with champions, right? You can get in there, spin on them, right-click them a few times, maybe take some damage, walk away, and then press Q and heal yourself back up, okay? So there's really nothing in lane right now that's damaging us because we're just in the river and practice tool, but just to show you guys the Q consumption, right? If we were beating down this champion here, we're at full Fury, right? Let's say we keep this trade going, then we want to walk away. We could press Q. See that green animation there? It consumes all of our Fury and it's going to heal us up. You're going to see this a little bit more in the gameplay that's going to follow this right now. Okay? In terms of leveling up ability order with Tryndamere, you actually want to max out that Q first. Okay, we're picking up E, but then after that E pickup, we're going to try and max out the Q. Okay, so level 3, for example, you want to pop a second point into that Q. It's just so big in terms of the damage output, the healing, the sustain. It's going to let you win most matchups that you're going to face kind of levels 1 through 3 very easily. Okay, you pair that up with a spin on someone, they can't really get away, you can flash, you can ignite, you can have a lot of kill pressure early on. It's great if you want to try and take over your games and be that carry, that 1 versus 5 carry. Okay, level 4, you're going to finally pick up a point in your W, Mocking Shout. Tryndamere hurls insults, reducing champions' attack damage by 20 for 4 seconds. If the enemy's back is turned towards Tryndamere when you cast this, they're going to be slowed for 30% for the same duration. Okay, so you'll see here on this dummy, will the W work on the dummy? I don't think it works on the dummy. Let's see if the back is turned. Yeah, okay, there you go. See that chicken that pops up over the dummy's head when you cast W from behind them? That means they're going to be slowed, okay? So there's a popular saying with Tryndamere that when you get the chickens, give them the dickens, and that basically means that if you land that slow, you can just walk right up to them and just auto-attack them in their face, okay? And then you can save your E to maybe follow them up further if they're running away from you, or to escape and kind of end the trade and spin back towards your turret if you wanted to, okay? So when you learn these basic abilities, the way you want to pair them up in terms of trying to trade against an enemy champion in lane is if they were trying to turn their back to you or run away because you were starting to close the distance just by walking up to them, you're going to land a W, continue to walk up, start beating them down, and then you can follow them up with an E and keep the trade going, or you could E away and disengage and then Q heal up. Okay, it's very basic. Tryndamere is a very simple champion. All you need to know from levels kind of 1 to 6 to play this guy really well is that when you have a good amount of fury, make sure you're looking for some good trades and engages based off of that slow from the W, and then walking in, auto-attacking, E in, auto-attacking, right? And just using the power of the right click. Then it's great too, because even if you're right-clicking minions, you're going to be able to get some of that fury, right? Like right-clicking anything gives you fury. So you can see here we're granting fury. So if we were in lane, we took a trade, that's fine. We're just going to press Q and heal back up and get some health back. Okay? So you always want to be right-clicking something as Tryndamere just to keep that fury coming in, to keep the sustain up, to keep your damage output high. And then as you get to level 6, you're going to look for some big all-in. So if we level up a couple more times here, again, we're maxing that Q first. Let's level up to level 6 one more time. We've got our R ability, Undying Rage. Tryndamere becomes completely immune to death for 5 whole seconds. Okay, it's actually insane. You won't be able to die for 5 seconds. All right, he also instantly gains a little bit of fury. So in those really tight all-ins, or if you're tower diving, you're going to press R and you're going to hear him scream. Right, he's going to turn really red like that, and that basically just means you can't die for 5 seconds. Okay, there's basically nothing that can stop you from casting that ability. So if you're a quick trigger finger on the R key, you're going to be really good at Tryndamere, because people are going to think they're about to kill you, and then you're just going to press R. You're going to go into Undying Rage, and like honestly with some champs, 2 or 3 auto attacks are going to wipe them out with Tryndamere. It's just going to hit them like a truck. So that 5 seconds is going to be enough for you to kill whoever you're trying to 1v1. Okay, that's basically it for Tryndamere. We're going to go back to the shop right now and just buy a few items and talk about a very basic build that you might want to look at in Season 11 for Tryndamere. So we're going to add some gold. So generally with Tryndamere, you want to rush the Berserker's Greaves. It just lets you auto-attack and have a little bit more ability very early on into the game. Again, the more you auto-attack with Tryndamere, the more fury you're going to be able to generate, and the more damage you're going to do, and more healing you can do. So auto-attack speed is essentially damage and healing still on Tryndamere. So this is a very good first pickup item for him. The next item you want to rush, at least in the current patch right now, is Kraken Slayer. This gives you attack damage, it gives you attack speed, and it gives you critical strike chance. Those are all already kind of stats that are built into Tryndamere's kit, so if we can amp those up with the Kraken Slayer and also do some true damage, this guy's going to be very nutty into a lot of matchups. And then another massively popular item that you're going to build out as your third item on Tryndamere right now is going to be the Navori Quick Blades. This again gives you attack damage, crit strike chance, but in this case 30 ability haste. So it's going to reduce all of your basic abilities cooldowns so you can spam them more. Tryndamere is a manaless champ, so you can spam these abilities endlessly in lane. He's got really good lane sustain and the ability to stay in lane and get a really good back off for when you want to back. The ability haste in terms of Navori Quick Blades is also accelerated with the Deft Strikes passive, where your critical strikes with attacks reduce your non-ultimate ability cooldowns by 20%. So that means when you have this item in the books here, basically when you crit strike with an auto attack, all of your basic abilities cooldowns get even further reduced, and that's going to make your E come up off cooldown like at nightmare speeds. You're going to be able to spin all over the map. So we're just going to kind of get back towards that practice dummy here. You can see we can just spin right now, but while we're spinning back to lane, just a quick note about the spin. You don't want what's called short spin with Tryndamere. He's going to spin a distance. It has a max range, of course, right? But if you short cursor it where you don't put your cursor all the way out to where you want to spin to, he'll just short spin to wherever you are. So you might not actually be able to clear some walls depending on where your cursor is. So if you're having problems with the spin, just try and maybe jump into practice mode or remember in game, oh, if I want to spin the whole length of the spin, I need to make sure my cursor is as far up as possible. Okay, so you're going to see here, I'm just going to, 3 auto attack this dummy so we can see how much damage 3 autos do with the Kraken Slayer and kind of a basic starting build here with Tryndamere. So 1, 2, 3. You can see their total damage is just over 1,000 off 3 auto attacks. Okay, so depending on the champ you're against or the state of the game and how fed you are, you will be able to kill some people with 3 autos. Like it's not a joke. Okay, especially if some of these crit a little bit harder. Like, right, that one was 839. Right, you get almost 6 autos off. You're going to be able to 6 auto a lot of champs. So you put a spin in there too. 2, 3. Right, we're at 1,400. Okay, so keep that in mind, right? You're a right-click champ. You want to spin into people. You want to W them to get those trades off. But also, if we just kind of take off the auto-refresh cooldowns now, we're going to see how fast the spin comes up off cooldown. So let's spin in. Right, see if jumping off cooldown. See, it was 9. Just keep your eye over here for a second. Right, 6, 3, down to 2. Now it's right back up. So every crit strike that you do, it's going to get reduced. And then with the Navori Quick Blade, it's going to get reduced even more. Okay, so that's going to give you the ability to really just spam your spins on champions in fights, or if you're doing objectives like this here, you can see, that 9 seconds is getting reduced all the way down to 3 or 4 seconds even right now, with only 1 point in it and just these 3 items. So we can rush that rift down very, very easily. Okay, but that's it for the abilities basically, guys. Let's jump into the custom game against the bot here and just have some fun doing some lane matchup. In terms of starting items, Tryndamere, long sword and 3 pots is very basic. You can go Doran Shield, Doran's Blade if you'd like, and then we're going to pick up that level E first. We're running lethal tempo in the runes with some other runes that are just maybe preference for me. Patch to patch, this is going to change, and into different matchups you might want to run other things, but this is generally what you're looking for. So level 1 with Tryndamere, you're actually very strong into a lot of trades. What you want to do is spin through those first minions when they're really, really low and see if you can get that lethal tempo proc off on the enemy champion with the spin included on that. That's usually going to be really, really good and potentially win you the whole lane outright. Okay, so you want to just spin through those first kind of low health minions as the lane's going. Careful not to spin into all 6 minions like this, because you will take a lot of damage like this if you're not ready to engage. So generally you want to kind of hang back until you're ready for that engage. Maybe you pick up your Q after you get that nice trade off, and then heal up in this case with that Q. So you can see here with the Qs, wow, that hit me. You can get that heal up based on how much Fury you have. You can still heal a little bit even if you have no Fury. Let's say you're getting really shoved out of lane like this. But in general, you want to make sure you keep that Fury bar up. Okay? If somebody gets too cheeky with you like that, again, early on with your lethal tempo and a spin damage, you should be able to win most trades. And then once you win trades, you want to keep auto attacking. It's very important with Tryndamere to keep the auto attacks going. So you're generating that Fury, and you can heal back up after you do those trades, okay? Very easy to right-click minions down with Tryndamere just off his base damage. You can also try and make sure you grab those last hits by spinning through like that if you want. You could also push waves by spinning through a bunch of them. So just have some fun creatively and decide what you want to do with the abilities. Generally, if you're not looking for any trade, you don't want to let your Fury sit there at full, so try and consume it and heal back up, and then keep auto attacking and fill that bar up again so you can heal up another huge portion of that chunk of health bar. Okay, always keep auto attacking, always keep healing. We put 2 points in that Q first, that's what you usually want to do, and then we're going to pick up the W as our 4th item. Now, if they walk up and they're within a spin range and you have the minion advantage, you definitely want to look for that W and then spin onto them and start that trade with your lethal tempo, okay? 1 or 2 autos and spin is probably going to half health them if they're a squishy target. Again, trade is done, so I queued to heal back up. If you just keep doing this over and over and over again, you E in, right? You auto attack them, and you walk away and you queue out, you're probably going to piss a lot of people off and you're going to win a lot of matchups before you even hit level 6, okay? So when you pick Tryndamere, you're basically going to want to be aggressive 100% of the time. Use your spins to clear out waves faster like this, and then heal up with that Q once you have enough Fury, okay? So really, really basic kind of rules of engagement right now for Tryndamere. If the minion waves are about even and it's a good opportunity to spin and hit the champ and proc your lethal tempo and do a couple big autos, make sure you do that because you're a champ who wants to take trades and then heal back up with your Q after you generate enough Fury. The other big thing to note with Tryndamere is keep auto attacking anything you can to keep the Fury bar going so that you can keep healing and keep spitting out damage. You're a lot less powerful and a lot less effective in lane if you can't be generating Fury, okay? So here, for example, I wouldn't spin in on this Rise. He has a minion advantage and I'm going to take a lot of damage from them, and I have no Fury, so I want to look to build that Fury up. When I get enough Fury, maybe even through spinning through minions, I'm going to look for a trade on him, okay? If we can open the trade up with a W and slow him down even more, that's going to be great, okay? Now his minion wave's really big, so I'd recommend in this case just auto attack what you can, get that Fury bar up to a point where you can maybe heal back some health if you got chunked out, and then when the wave bounces back, aka you have more minions, then you're going to look for another big trade on him, okay? So here we have minions. I'm going to W him as he walks away, you see that? And then I'm going to just walk up to him and just auto attack him down. You can ignite on that if you want, and you're going to be able to burn people down, okay? So just try and make sure when you're going to go aggressive with those E's, the chances are there. They're presenting themselves as good opportunities. It's on your side of the lane. You can run them down with the W slow, and then, you know, you have the minion advantage for those trades. It just helps guarantee the fact that you're going to win the trade. Okay? If you manage to push someone out of lane like this, you're going to look for some auto attacks on the minions, spin through them all if you can, last hit them down, get that minion gold. In this case, we're running Demolish, so I'm going to get some gold off the towers as well if I'm pushing non-stop, and basically just have a good time. Now, we haven't talked about the ult yet, so I'm just going to spin away from this Rise so we can back off properly. We'll pick up a point in that, and again, we're going to be maxing out our Q. But with Undying Rage, if you are either losing your matchup at level 6, generally it turns the tides because you have another free 5 seconds of basically staying alive when you should be dead to kill the enemy champion. The other thing it does for you is if you're ahead in the matchup, you can actually start to tower dive and accelerate and snowball even harder. I really hate champs that when you're ahead, if the enemy champion just decides to turtle up in their tower and your jungler doesn't come, you just can't dive them, right? There's some champs that you just will not be able to dive and kill, and they can kind of stall out whatever lead you have. With Tryndamere, with the R, you can dive really, really easily. So here, he turned his back to me. I'm just going to W him and follow him up with autos. Once he's out of auto attack range, then I'll spin and get the kill, okay? Don't use your W and E together right off the bat if you don't need to. Usually if you can land the W slow on an enemy champion, just walk up to them and save your E to either follow up if they flash away or use some kind of a dash, or just to close a distance or disengage after if you want to, right? It's very rare that you have to use your W and E in unison to catch up to someone. Okay, so again here we're spinning through all the minions with our E so that we can clear the wave out nice and fast. Tryndamere loves split pushing and getting tower gold, so you want to make sure you're doing that as well, okay? Okay, so let's say I want to dive him here, okay? We're going to max at our E second. I'm still going to, again, try and land the chickens. Now I'm going to just start spinning, and right before I die, I'm going to click that R so the tower can't kill me. Okay, you can see there I didn't die. That's how easy it is to tower dive with Tryndamere. Again, you might have not the best luck at the start, especially if you don't time your W and your R properly, but just have fun playing around with it. You want to try and wait to cast your R until that final turret shot is just about to hit you to kill you. Okay, don't waste even a split second of your R if you can help it when you're not going to die anyway. Okay, that's kind of like the pro tip on using Tryndamere's R as effectively as possible, waiting till the very last second to press it so you're maximizing the benefit. Okay, so here we don't have our R, but we can still maybe land a W and spin on him in a second here. So if he turns his back to us, I'm going to try and click W. Okay, he didn't, but I'm still just going to auto attack him, and if he spins away, or sorry, if he walks away, I'm going to spin into him and then just attack him down. Okay, so you're just going to literally rinse and repeat this process. You'll get into a good groove of knowing kind of how the trade pattern, you know, plays out with Tryndamere once you get a few games on him. It's not that hard. Again, it's generally a slow into auto attacks, into a spin, into Q heals, right? Like, it's very, very easy. It's a step-by-step thing, and because he's a right-click champ, you're just, the more right clicks you can get on somebody, you're probably going to win. Okay? Let's talk about how we can take this lead out of mid lane, or if you're playing top lane, and really accelerate. So here, if he walks up to us, right, we don't even have to press W now. We can just auto attack him, and then you want to just W them while they run away. Okay? You can also pick up these camps here, the enemy jungle camps. Tryndamere clears them very easily, and again, because of your Q sustain, you can pick up the camps, and basically it's not going to cost you anything. Then you can just spin back over these walls and get right back in and keep up your push. Okay, but let's go back and buy another item here, and then our ult is up again, so we want to talk about how we can maybe turret dive other lanes and help our other teammates kind of get leads or keep leads and close out the game. So first item we're going to build into is that Kraken Slayer after we have our Berserker's Greaves, and then we're going to start to build into these quick blades here. So let's just run towards mid. Let's pretend we're going to go towards mid and still play our lane. And then we're going to branch off to either bot or top to try and gank and get some kills or turret dives, okay? Again, because of Tryndamere's R, you don't have to worry if the lane you're ganking is pushed up into your enemy, or sorry, into your ally's tower, or if your ally's pushed up into the enemy tower, because you can turret dive. So let's just roam towards top, because top's up here already. So we're going to spin towards top as we walk up there to cover that ground. It's going to be back off cooldown in, you know, a few seconds, so that's fine. And then we're just going to try and land a W on these guys while they're running away from us, and then land a bunch of autos. That's it, okay? So hold your W until you need it. We don't need it yet. We can just literally walk up to people and auto them. So we don't even need the W yet, right? If they decided not to fight me there and just run away, we would have W'd them. Okay, so now again we finished that gank. We're going to just spin back towards our mid lane here, go and kill this Rise. If he starts to try and run away from us, we'll W to slow him, and then just follow up with auto attacks and spins. So you can see here, right? Okay, he's trying to run away. Try and land your W. You can always spin to catch up to them. All right, and then we'll go bot lane now. Healing up, getting that health. We can turret dive this guy even if he stays near turret. We'll just turret dive him if these guys don't kill him. So we're going to walk up behind him here. You can signal to your allies that you're on the way. We're literally just going to try and land that W. There it is. And just auto attack him down. You can spin to grab the kill. And then Nasus is going to eat it too. Right? So you can see, like, we're literally killing people in a couple of autos here. It's going to be like that in your games too if you learn how to get those early leads, a couple of kills, and then you just snowball into your items. So guys, that's really it for Tryndamere. I mean, there's a couple of other little, you know, advanced things you're going to learn with him as you pour more games into him. There's some cool things you can do with your W in terms of finding out if people are in the fog of war, hiding from you, or invisible champs. But like pretty basic right-click champ. Some of the stuff that's going to let you become a really, really good Tryndamere is how good you are with your macro game. Because he's a simple champ to play and execute on, you want to be able to carry games a little bit more through your macro play, right? So you know, can you split push effectively? Can you flank effectively? Can you team fight when it's necessary? Or are you at the objectives like Dragon and Baron to make sure you help secure those with your team, right? Like, as Tryndamere, you want to try and make sure you're bringing more people to you and away from your team, and then you can try and 1v2 or, you know, even 1v3 in some cases. So let's see if we can grab a turret dive on this Udyr up here. You actually just want to leave 1 point in your R. Again, that's a little bit more of an advanced thing, but just leave 1 point in your R off the start. Here, right, we W'd and we're just going to follow up with autos. And then you can try and knock down these turrets. Okay, again, we're maxing out that E. We're not worried too much about maxing out that R first. You really only need 1 point in it for the ability to stay alive through death. I'm just looking to see if I can get a tower dive on someone, and again, just kind of illustrate how we want to use our R. So there's a bunch of people mid here. Let's see if we can just knock down everybody. So we're going to save our W once somebody tries to run away from us. Okay, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4 autos on him. Use that R right before you die, not before. You want to maximize it, right? And then you can just easily take out a couple champs like that. Usually people won't fight you as Tryndamere. They're going to try and run away or kite away from you, but if you get good to land your W and your spin to close a distance, it's going to feel like they just can't escape from you. Once you kill people, you can push waves super quick, and also because you're a right-click kind of crit-based champ, you can also take down turrets really fast too. You pair that with your Demolish, you're pretty dirty champ. Okay, we don't have R here, so I'm just going to try and see if I can take this turret down here. Again, in situations like this, you'll get better at knowing what you can do. And then you can kind of use your flash and spin to get away from people like that. You can do some pretty cool things under tower, right? A lot of people are going to get frustrated by you. You can see here that flash, this 2 spins. We basically went from under their tower 1v3 to flying away to the jungle and just doing more things, okay? Keep your gold income coming in with Tryndamere. You can right-click things down so fast that usually backing is probably the wrong thing to do if there's camps or money still on the map somewhere near you. Okay, you always want to be grabbing that gold income and denying the enemy jungler gold, right? So just look for things like that. Now our ult's not up, so we have to be careful. When ult's not up with Tryndamere, you do have to be careful, okay? You don't want to go into situations where if you get crowd controlled, you're going to die without your ult up. So for example here, if there's 3 people pushing tower, you have to pretend like if you go in, you're going to die, okay, without ult up, because you're still kind of just a right-click ADC in essence, right? So here, we might go in now. We're going to pop some potions. So I'll go in now. I'm going to click R. I'm going to try and kill that guy off, kill this guy off, and just 1v3 like that. So when you have your ult up, you are a nightmare, okay? When you don't have it up, play a little bit more passively, at least if you're into 1v3s, okay? Guys, I hope you enjoyed that guide to Tryndamere. I will try and post a gameplay with him so you can see a little bit more of a PvP scenario and some commentary on that. But if you have any other tips and tricks with Tryndamere you want to share with the community, definitely leave them in the comments below. And if you have any questions for me about the champ or gameplay, I'd be happy to follow up with a few answers as well. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.